Isn't that something? So, you know, I'll tell you what, after listening to Ciro Alessino's talk, I am glad that Satan kicked me out of his organization. I am glad of that, I'll tell you right now. Now, the subject of higher education, we got a couple more, then we'll shut it down, but the subject of higher education comes up. In fact, rather than, it's in a Watchtower magazine, but I'll just kind of paraphrase it here. It's in a very current Watchtower magazine, and it's September 1st, 2008, and it deals with education again, and they're actually likening, they're saying if you're in school, high school, and someone encourages you, one of the guidance counselors or whatever, to go to school, you want to reject that. This could interfere with your allegiance to Jehovah, so you'd want to reject that education, and they link it into the same thing as rejecting immorality, rejecting drinking and smoking. But what a cruel thing that is to do to people, to bring that into the same category as immorality. I'm going to show you, we have another tape here, it's on education, and it's dealing with Brother Loesch of the Watch. I say brother just so we can all identify. He's not my brother anymore. I don't know if he ever was my brother, to be honest with you, but the governing body member, Loesch, his name is, he's one of the top dogs now at Watchtower, and YouTube is circulating a video concerning education. Now, Loesch speaks in 9 different languages, and he's doing this talk. We'll get a little excerpt from his talk in Italy. He's speaking in Italian, and the English words are scrolling across the bottom. But we'll look a little bit at that, and then we'll try to explain what was going on.
Se frequentate l'università o meno potrebbe essere un riflesso della vostra fede o mancanza della vostra fede e indicare se avete veramente in mente la prossimità della grande tribolazione. Un fatto rimane indiscusso: il tempo rimasto è ridotto, come disse Paolo, 1 Corinti 7:29.
We can cut it right there, but you get the point. This is circulating throughout the YouTube network. There's been a lot of hits on this. Some witness put it on there. And a local Kingdom Hall, right near where I live, they made in fact, it was a letter from the society, so I don't know if it was read to all of the congregations, but they really don't want you, they said, stop spreading, Brother Loesch on YouTube. And don't let the other witnesses know it, because this is condemning. He's speaking against education. And the illustration that he used in the end of this, and the illustration was really bizarre. He said, if you're in a Kingdom Hall and there's elders that have had a college education, you don't have to emulate them. Then he uses this bizarre example or illustration. He says there was a man that had terrible compulsive disorder. He kept having to wash his hands like crazy, and he couldn't stop doing that. And you've seen people like that, perhaps, or read stories about it. But he says this man suffered so bad he couldn't stand it anymore. So he took a gun, and he put it in his mouth. He was going to kill himself because it was that bad. And when the bullet went through his brain, it actually took out the very part of the problem that was causing his compulsive disorder. This is an urban myth. This is all over the internet, stories like this. So I'm sure this is a made-up story. So he says the bullet went through, and it took out the part of the brain, as I say, where the compulsive disorder was originated to. So he said, so if you have compulsive disorder, and you want to try the same thing, would you try that? I mean, what a crazy example. So because this brother went to college, you don't have to follow him. You follow? So, I mean, this is the type of stuff that you hear. How could you really stand it anymore? It's getting worse. And everyone here be glad that you're out of the Watchtower, or at least making preparations to get out. Okay, just one more video I'll show you. One more video, and I want to let you know that Armageddon has hit the Watchtower Society. And I have to say that the biggest tool right now being used on the internet is YouTube videos. YouTube videos are getting so many people in there. Now remember we talked about that tape recorded message I had, or the tape recorded disfellowshipping tape, I put that on YouTube. It connects right to my website. This YouTube video, you'll see a little bit of it, actually got over 125,000 people in there. Now, who would want to listen to a disfellowshipping tape? So it must be, it must be mostly Jehovah's Witnesses wiggling their way out. So let's take a quick look at that. My name is Rick Farron. What you're looking at behind me is the Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses. I was a Jehovah's Witness for close to 50 years of my life. And in July of 2005, I was disfellowshipped from this very hall. In fact, that room right there, you can see in the window, is where a judicial committee hearing took place. Now, what's of interest is I secretly recorded the entire judicial committee hearing on tape. In fact, you can see the book on the screen below. I put a recorder in that book. I was brought in there because I was questioning the Watchtower. I was questioning some of the practices that were taking place. My wife Inez also was a Jehovah's Witness for close to 50 years, and she was of the anointed, so-called anointed class as well. And what happened is she wasn't able to come and meet with the judicial committee. So they actually disfellowshipped her locally here from this Kingdom Hall, and they did it without her appearing, through absentia, they call it. In that committee, in the first committee, I was told that I was 90% correct in what was being said. I brought up many, many things concerning the Watchtower and their involvement in various policies that were being changed, their connection with the UN, the pedophilia problems you'll hear. You'll hear also that the Jehovah's Witnesses actually encourage hatred. I hope you enjoy what you hear. And this can be of benefit to anyone that's being brought in to a judicial committee hearing, and I encourage anyone who is going to have a hearing to be able to see if you can't get it recorded, because it can help so many people that are wiggling their way out of the Watchtower. That video, like I say, has already had 125,000 hits. In the comments, we've had over 4,000 comments. And so many of them are Jehovah's Witnesses, and they're saying that it's helping them realize how silly this is because of the way they disfellowship people. So it's helping. So yes, the Calvary has showed up. The internet showed up. The video apostate, so to speak. It's all making a big difference in the Watchtower Society. I wish we had more time to go on, but the only thing I want to say is the last Jehovah's Witness that's leaving the organization, please turn out the new light.